Hey, everybody. We have just returned from Nashville where we spent some time with Camilla, one of the owners of Daffodil Hill Craft Studio. And it's such a lovely place. We enjoyed our conversation with her and we think you'll want to listen in.
So today we are here with Camilla, owner operator of Paint the Town by Numbers. Tell us a little bit about your endeavors.
Okay. I am a former art teacher for Metro Schools. And while I was teaching elementary art, we were watching a Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood episode because he would often take us to studios and meet artists and interesting people, which really inspired me. He interviewed Red Grooms, who was a Nashville artist that was living in New York. It gave me the idea to create a coloring book called Miss Camilla's Neighborhood that were coloring pages of all the people that live in this East Nashville community. From there, I thought, I would like to tell a story that encompasses the whole city. And I have a lot of vintage paint by numbers in my home. And I had a great snapshot of downtown Nashville with the Batman building. And I thought, what if I bring this like modern building together with these vintage paint by number, the design language? And I created a painting. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is so cute. I'm going to make a paint by number kit. Had no idea how to do that. And with the help of a really good friend, Rodney, kind of took me under his wing and mentored me into how to actually produce a product. Our Paint the Town by Numbers business grew from that one kit to now over 30. We have sold them in Barnes and Noble and Dick Art Materials, and we're featured Amazon Small Business, and have done a lot. We've done a lot with our paint by number kit. So that's sort of the foundation of the rest of the things that you see here.
Okay, and so all of this transpired like how long ago?
Wow, about 10 years ago. Okay. About 10 years ago, I would say, because I was teaching elementary art at the time that I created that painting. And by the time that I had finished the whole process, I had taught another 6 years at Nashville School of the Art High School. So then our business really, everything was in place. We had an Etsy shop and we had a system worked out in the basement of the home that we live in. Mm-hmm. And when the pandemic came along, stores were shut down. People were at home. They wanted to craft. So I thought my phone was broken. It started dinging and moving and all these kinds of things. So our business really went viral with the virus. Gotcha. And we were probably shipping out 100 plus kits a day.
Wow.
With just our family, my husband, my daughter, and myself out of the basement in that home. So we just outgrew that space really fast. And then transitioned to using where we are now, we call Daffodil Hill Craft Studio, which is
That's lovely. Yes. We saw the daffodils starting to come up as we drove in.
Yes, there are just hundreds of them all over
lovely
this yard and have been here for as long as I know.
And so Keith, your husband, who is not with us today, but certainly an integral part of this business.
Yes, he is with us today. He is.
I was going to say he's actually working.
He's in the studio.
He's working.
He's in the space that we use for assembling our kits, and he's putting together paint kits. He does all of our shipping and handles all of our wholesale. And we have, thankfully, some people from our community that work for us part-time and help us fill paint pots and help us assemble kits. Some of them do that from their homes, and then one of them comes here and does that. So he takes care of all that, orders all the paint, keeps all the paint boards in stock, all the color copies in stock, all the brushes in stock, all the stickers in stock, because there's so many parts and pieces that go into all that.
It's a lot of inventory. And we found you at Gypsy Moon Marketplace in Kentucky last last December.
December.
I think.
Beautiful show.
And
Yeah.
it's been great to get to come to visit your studio here on Daffodil Hill in Nashville. And tell us a little bit about like all the things you do here at Daffodil
Okay.
Hill. I love that name.
Oh, thank you.
That's so great.
Thank you. So we do our shipping from here. We store our inventory here. We do some assembling here. All those things happen in other rooms that used to be a house, which are now a working studio. And then the space that we're in right now has evolved into part art gallery, part crafting. I call them craft times. And we do everything from bedazzling, which you might be able to see here in the background. I have a bedazzle bar set up and different pieces that people can choose from. And then we make fascinators here for parades and celebrations. And I have an upcoming fancy, I call it Make a Fancy Easter egg, which they look like Fabergé eggs that are highly decorative. So sometimes we do a paint by number event here, or I don't know, lots of we make Valentine's here.
Yes, your Valentine things were adorable. We saw
Thanks.
those over there. You have the kits. People can come, I'm sure, and just purchase things.
Yeah.
Tell us about your fine yard that you also have available here. So people can work on their fine yard here and just purchase, right?
Yes, you can. We are not open as a retail store.
Right.
We are a studio, and I host crafting events. I call them craft times at Daffodil Hill.
Love that.
And when we are open for these small, we fit 10 people in here. So there's plenty of space. It's not overly crowded. It's just right. So 10 people at a time come in. And while you're here, you can shop our paint kits, our stickers, our art, our prints, our posters. The main focus of the craft times are making things. And back to the fine yart.
Yes.
So this piece is from a public art event called Artville, which is, they'll be coming up on their 3rd year. And it is directed by Samantha Saturn, who has envisioned Nashville having more of a public art presence. And she has a passion for art and for nurturing artists. So she asked me to make some pieces for their first event to help mark the space. It was a very large space, so they wanted to make sure people knew where the space was. So I came up with the idea to make these cutouts, and I did Andy Warhol, this is Kusama, Georgia O'Keeffe, Howard Finster, and Basquiat. And the idea was that they teleported themselves magically to Artville.
To Nashville.
Because it was an art, like they wanted
the place to be.
Yes, to see and be seen.
Love it.
And they were surrounded by their artwork. So Kusama was surrounded by a lot of polka dots, and Andy Warhol was surrounded by Marilyn Monroe, the dollar sign, the soup can. All of them, I wanted to have depth. So they're covered in glitter, they're covered in rhinestones, they're covered in fur, all made to handle the outdoors.
And this is, people probably can't see on camera, but this is a board cutout that is designed especially for all weather.
It's for all weather. It's the same material that campaign signs are made from. So I called it fine yart.
Love it.
Andy Warhol said art is what you can get away with. There are lots of, I don't know how to exactly phrase this. It's almost like an invisible caste system in the art world. What is fine art? What is craft? What is good art? What is bad art? What is art? What is art made out of? Like there's a whole class at Belmont that's dedicated to this topic, and they debate it for a whole semester. What is art?
Wow.
The only rule is that you cannot physically harm anyone or anything.
In the making of the art.
In the debating.
Right. Oh, in the debating.
Yeah. So sometimes people just have to get up and leave class. Every now and then a little door is slammed because people are passionate about what their idea of what art is. And so I feel like I'll say what it is. I'll determine what that is. no labels go here. This all play on words. Like, you are an artist. You say you are, you are. You want to come here and express yourself, you do it. What you make is what you make, and it's good. You can call it whatever you want. It can be fine art, it can be craft. I don't have time for that. It's all about making and expressing.
We totally support that.
Yeah.
We totally support that.
Yeah.
That gave us a big smile.
I'm so glad, because it
Yeah.
does me too. It just lights me up, and I feel really passionate about it.
Yeah. It's and art is supposed to be emotion evoking at best, right?
Sure.
And whether that be sorrow through remembrance of something, or joy through the whimsy of something, or catching a play on a little bit of wit here and there tied into the art. To the yart. Did you see what I just did?
I did.
Tied into the yart. And I didn't even realize I was doing that.
The fine yart.
The fine yart. That's right. So
everybody's creative.
Yes.
I mean, I've heard people say I'm not very creative, or there's nothing creative about me, and I even said that about myself, but I guess everybody is an artist.
Absolutely. Everyone's life is a work of art, and it's like our birthright as a human being. Creativity is part of every single one of us.
Mm-hmm.
Just talking to you earlier about how you problem solve with everything that's part of your life. Like, you picked up a horse. You had to. That's what creative people do. They see a problem, and they know they are the one to solve it, and they will do it in all different kinds of ways, even if they have to lift a horse by themselves onto a truck. You didn't just stand there and let the horse suffer. You use your creativity to come up with a really quick solution.
That's an excellent point, that problem solving is creativity in action, for sure. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I never really thought about it that way.
Everything is
creativity in action. Yes. Yeah. Food, making, cooking, baking, all the things. So everything that you do is, I don't know. We were drawn when we saw you at your booth at Gypsy Moon Marketplace. The whimsy of what you do is just fabulous.
Thank you.
Doesn't life need a little more whimsy here and there? And we actually took home your paint by number ornaments.
Yes.
And had the best time. That may become like a tradition for us. We did it with all of our adult children.
Nice.
Yeah, we gathered around the table after we ate, and we just painted a little while, and it was a lovely time. That wasn't, nothing pressured, and everyone took home something for their tree. We really enjoyed that. Thanks for that. Little part of our Christmas last year. That was a lot of fun. And you all, tell us a little bit about, the holidays. We kind of get more creative, I guess, and inspired or excited during the holidays.
Yeah.
But what about like festivals and things that you all have coming up here as well that people may want to travel? The Road Tripsy podcast, we try to focus on places people can go and see and enjoy. And spend a day or spend it overnight or whatever. So what are some of the festivals that you all have coming up that you are also very integral in?
Sure. So there are tons of markets for makers, and Maid Market, and Porter Flea, and wonderful people that have organized beautiful craft markets like Gypsy Moon in Kentucky that happen here in Nashville. And then in our community, it's Tomato Art Festival. We're already thinking ahead.
That just sounds so fun.
Which is in June, is that right?
It's in August. It's usually the second weekend of August.
Timing for tomatoes to be
a ripe tomato.
A beautiful ripe tomato.
Yes, and that is very grassroots. It began with a husband-wife team like yourselves that were very creative and still are, like you, and they had a gallery. They called it the Garage Mahal. And then it became its art and invention gallery, which would also probably speak to you. So they were a very core part of our community, And they came up with the Tomato Art Festival idea that started off just really small, with neighbors throwing tomatoes at a building that was going to be condemned. And then it was sort of the origins of an era of East Nashville of roll up your sleeves. We're going to work together.
Mhm.
We're going to plant gardens. We're going to beautify our community and make things together. So that evolved into the Tomato Art Festival, which I think has about 80,000 people attend,
Oh wow.
80,000
That's huge.
people.
and a parade that has grown every year to more and more.
That is so 80,000 people.
So is this a
Wow.
weekend long event?
It is now on Friday night and then Saturday. It
Okay.
used to just be on Saturday, but they've added a second night to it. And there are all kinds of, there are stages with musical performances, and then there is a Bloody Mary tent, and
Of course.
there's costume
That makes-
contests.
yeah, of course.
You have to come to that.
We really do need to put that on our calendar. And so the dates this year, what? Do you know the dates? It's okay if you don't.
They
It's like
are.
the
I think
second-
it might be August the 12th, but I'm
Okay.
not 100% sure.
I'm sure there's a website.
Second, yeah,
You
there
just
is.
Google Tomato Art Festival.
Uh-huh.
And where's like the ground zero?
So 5 Points in East
Okay.
Nashville.
Okay.
Troy Duff usually comes out and paints a big mural in the center of the street, and it's lined with vendor booths, and people are, every year it's more and more about the costumes that you wear. So one of the workshops that I'm very excited about is having people over here to help them make their own custom tomato art fascinator.
That's fabulous. So
Yeah.
fun.
Uh-huh. It'll be fun. And I really want to be a part of that, infusing celebration and wearable art and decorative art and art for your walls, art for your door, art for your yard, like art that you can paint. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. It's so fun to be sitting here with you in the middle of
Aw.
all your stuff. It's super cool.
Well,
So
I know y'all are really special.
Well,
You're
thanks.
like telling stories for people and connecting all the dots and pulling your surroundings into one place where people can go. It's like really special.
life is too short not to go and do, and you don't have to have a lot of money to do it. You know, that's the other thing, we want people to know what's accessible and available to them.
Yeah, so for accessibility here, like this is new for us this year. So far I've only planned 2 open houses,
Okay.
but one of them is in leading up to Tomato Art Festival, just that it'll be open. And I'll have a free craft that people can do that has
Oh, that's
something to do
nice.
with tomato art.
Love that. That's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever do traveling workshops, or
I
is that not
have.
yet? Oh, you have. Okay.
Yeah. We've done them for corporations like Amazon had us come out, and we took paint by number kits, and they
That's so
worked
fun.
with those. And then Harding Academy, I visited them the week before last, and they were so kind to their teachers and have a Wellness Wednesday, and they purchased paint by number kits from me.
Oh,
And then I went out and helped meet everyone and distribute those. So we do travel to do workshops and enjoy that. I love having people here because it's a smorgasbord of
mhm.
every art supply that you
Yeah.
could think of. So you
Yeah.
can get really creative over here.
With all that you offer, I'm sure it feels really great to have people here because you've got it. If you need a paper clip, it's like, we know where the paper clips are, and if
Yeah.
you need that color of
Yes.
hot pink, you can whip it up back there in your paint studio.
Yes.
And things like that. So I understand. It's just lovely to have people in your
It's lovely to
in your
have.
home
It
base.
brings it alive, and it fills a need for me in being able to connect with people around art making. It fuels me energetically. I love how, let's say we were all working on one thing that was alike. In the end, every one of them is going to be different. And then I'm always learning. I'm surprised, like, oh my gosh, that's so cool the way you did this. That's so neat the way you did that. Like, it's so informative to come together. It's like tree roots underground or communicating with one another, and the forest is stronger when when we're all networked and we're talking and touching and making things together. It's very fulfilling.
It's fascinating how our brains will all process the same options so differently.
Yes.
Based on, our thought patterns or our experiences in the past or what we've seen or been adjacent to or whatever. So, yeah, all of this is reminding me, our daughters were always very into art. Our son, not as much, but he's still, but you could give him the exact same materials and it would come 3 different things.
Yes.
But that's the joy of art. I think that's part of the joy of art.
I do. I miss that aspect of teaching and just being inundated day in, day out with just one, making. It was just like a whirlwind
of frenzy of fun.
Sometimes it was frenzy. Sometimes it was fun. Yeah. Most of the time it was rewarding. It was always rewarding. And I hope to bring a little bit of that spirit and that community feeling here, and just the pleasure of it all. It's as gratifying to me as I feel like it is for other people that are here. So yes, I do look forward to seeing how this goes, because it's intentional for me this year, where it has just been something I've played around with in the past, but I got really quiet in January and I thought, what really do I want to do? What really feels good to me? And that's when I just sat down and put it out on a calendar, and I thought, I'm gonna start turning the wheels on this, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's exciting. And I think that's part of the reason winters are important. A lot of people don't like the winter, but to us, farming as long as we have, winter is useful for resting and for allowing everything to kind of there's just more contemplation time.
Yes.
When the ground is resting, when the plants are resting.
Yes.
Before seeding happens again. And I think it's important when we ask ourselves those questions of, what is it that I want to do? And we have taken a photo of your upcoming event, so we'll definitely be sharing that when we release the podcast and information. So that's exciting.
I did change the dates on the March ones.
Okay.
Because I thought, I think I maybe want to take a little more time to be able to create some videos and some photographs. And I'm already thinking, like, I called it Make a Fancy Egg, but they're really inspired by Fabergé eggs, and there's like some tweaking that I want to do with those, but every other date is set and far enough out.
It's so exciting. It's so great.
So if I wanted to get a hold of a paint by number kit, how do I do that?
You just go to our website, paintthetownbynumbers.com, and they're all there.
Okay.
Or come to one of our crafting events, and then you can shop for them in person. We have a shipping room over here that has a lot of inventory in it. We have some things in here, so when you visit us, you're free to roam around and look at everything. And
you'll also be set up at some markets throughout the year, possibly?
We are not going to do as many markets as we have in the past. We are still going to do some markets. So we do have those coming up.
Okay.
And a personal family question is, will there be new ornament offerings this year?
So yes, every year I put out new ornaments. Not everyone, but most everyone was asking me to do Golden Girls.
Oh yeah.
As a set of ornaments.
Lovely. Yeah.
Last year I designed Nutcracker ornaments. So those are in the wings. And then I have some little birds that I have worked on.
The old English birds. Is that what they were, or different?
They're like a bluebird. There is an Old English bird in our Old World ornament set. This would just be like a set of birds.
Okay.
Yes.
We really enjoyed those. So
I'm so glad.
Yeah, it was fun. Okay. Well, thanks so much for letting us come today and learn more about what you do. We really appreciate your time.
I appreciate you all. It's very generous of you, and I thank you so much for making the trip over.
Of course.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.